what to do and what not to do, vineyard practices, best practices, it's inherently difficult. So collectively, my goal is that we can come together and develop concepts that will empower us into the next couple of years. And, clicker's a little slow. Okay. We're very proud that we've been able to put on these programs in 3 different continents, 9 different locations. We just started our 2 new outposts in South America, Mendoza and in Santiago. And we have new programs that are blossoming up as well. This year we're starting a new program in Walla Walla, Washington, and Tbilisi, Georgia, of all places. And we have 5 programs here in North America that we're very proud of. We just got back from our show in Paso Robles, and Napa is our home city, so we're always happy to be here. And how do we do this? Well, we have to create all of this information through partnerships. So the parent company of the Vintage Report is Fruition Sciences, and we partner with them on every program that we do around the world. Typically, we partner with other labs, institutions, universities as well, to be able to put on this kind of information in this format. And it's my goal that in the coming years, we'll be partnering with more organizations so that we can have greater depth to the information that we're providing here today. And then there's content. So a lot of our content, in fact, most of our content is being fueled by our board of advisors. We have 2 board of advisors. We have 1 board in France, primarily composed of researchers from the top viticulture and enology programs in France. And then here in the United States, we have a great board of seasoned industry wine growers, many of whom are here today. And through their insight, through both boards, we're able to compose content that we can rely upon year after year. On top of that, we have a lot of data that we will be discussing today. And this data has to come from somewhere. So today we have 2 primary data providers. We have Vivilis, which we'll be talking about a little bit later in the session today. And then we have Fruition Sciences, who will be giving us some insight into plant physiology, climate, and other components. The Vintage Board also has a partnership, a scientific partnership with Montpellier Supagro, and they're sort of our scientific backbone. So when we have questions, we go to them. They might not have answers, but they know where to find them. So we're very thankful to have their support. And in terms of support, it's not free to do a Vintage Report. In fact, it's quite the opposite. And in order to accomplish this, we've worked with some really great companies, some really great wine industry suppliers, technology suppliers, in this region and throughout the world. And I have to say that one of the best companies that I've had the pleasure of working with is ETS Labs. They've been with us since year 1. We started in Napa in 2010, and they've been a really great supporter of us. And not only that, they're also a collaborator. We partner with them to do our programs in the Pacific Northwest. But we're very thankful for their support and that we can work with a lab that really prides itself on creating accurate results for the wine industry. We have another title sponsor today, which is 360 Vidi, and this is a new offshoot of Fruition Sciences. So it's a technical application that combines all vineyard data in one place. It's pretty nifty, and Gino Camozzi is going to be telling us a little bit more about the application right before our lunch break today. So then, of course, we have our general sponsors as well, which start with Tony Berger, who's represented here today by Tiffany Eichholz. Palenque, who, of course, is one of the world's great developers and purveyors of technology, both for the cellar and for the vineyard. We have Lafort, which is one of the world's great wine industry suppliers. We're very happy to have their support, not just here in California, but also for our events in France. We have support from Vivilis, which is a provider of technology solutions in both the cellar and the vineyard. NRTs, which is a great lab here in the U.S. West Coast and industry supplier as well. And they are doing a special demo table today. So they are now introducing a new product called Blue Vitae, and it's pretty revolutionary. It's a soil addition with a vineyard application. And I would urge you all to check that out. There's a little bit more information on their demo table, so stop by and talk to JT and the team about that. And then Francois Frere, one of the world's best-known cooperage. Francois Frere is also doing a tasting as well at the break. So there's 2 tables out there that they're going to be doing specific barrel tastings with. And then we have our program here today. So I'm going to go through a little bit about what we have in store. Right after I'm done yakking, we get to hear from the legendary Greg Jones. And the good news, he's actually in the building this year. So we're very excited about that. Then we're going to hear from the first time of several times from Thibaut Skolash. He's going to be doing the vintage analysis. Thibaut, of course, is going to be helping me out by welding all of this information together, creating additional scientific content. So we'll be hearing from him several times throughout today's function. And then we get to hear a presentation from University of Bordeaux trained Pierre Elwy, who is currently at Texas A&M. Then we'll be hearing from Sudeshna Pabi, who is going to be talking about the research program that she's been working on for the past 2 years. Take a coffee break. I think it's going to be a little bit after 10:30, but it's still going to be a half-an-hour break. Then we're going to get back into the vintage effect on berry ripening. Hear from Cecilia Cunningham of Ivilis. And then we have another special component of our program today that's going to be led by Dr. Federico Casasa of Cal Poly. And Dr. Casasa is going to be going into different methods of phenolic analysis that are available in the marketplace and what all this information means to you as the wine grower. So he's going to present on that, and then he's inviting a panel of experts that represent 3 of the largest laboratories that provide phenolic analysis. And so we're going to create a pretty lively discussion with that. And hopefully we'll have plenty of time to take questions from the audience as well. Then we're going to break for lunch. And I'm looking forward to lunch because it sounds like we get to eat in the courtyard right out here. And then we're going to get back into the outside the box function of our program. So we will be hearing first from Lee Johnson, who's with CSU Monterey Bay, and he's going to be talking to us about the research that he's been doing on satellites and how we can use satellites to empower different applications in agriculture. We're going to hear from Sarah Placella, who has new solutions to understanding disease management with her company, Root Applied Scientists. And then finally, we get to hear from a totally new background of horticulture. We've invited the main grower for the French Laundry to discuss with us some of his growing practices and how he grows for flavor. So I think it's going to be a new territory outside of the wine grapes. It's going to be fun. We'll conclude, and then we have a wine and beer tasting. There's a lot of wine, there's a lot of beer. So I hope you all can join us for a drink right after the program. And then throughout the day, we will be operating off of Slido. So I tried to go through all the slides and make sure that this information was relevant to the question slides. But it's real simple. It's a real simple app to use. You can go on your phone, just launch a browser, and go to slido.com or slido, or sli.do, and then put in the secret password, which is Vintage Report 2018. And then you can ask questions. And it's really helpful when you have a burning question in the middle of a presentation that you want to ask. It's easy for us to be able to bring that up later. Also, we're going to have some time after lunch where we can review some of the main questions that came up. So if y'all want to use this, I do encourage that.